Alphabet stock has been trading at relatively cheap valuations for several reasons, but most notably because stock market participants are extremely concerned about the impacts of large language models on its search business. I think those risks are being overestimated, and I've been talking about that extensively, and I'll share with you some details as to why I think that's the case here in this video. I'll also share with you one segment of its business that's being underappreciated, right? So you have the risks being overestimated, and you have one segment of the business being underappreciated, and that's the driverless Waymo segment. And I'm going to share with you some details about that. And then I'll share with you the valuation of Alphabet stock and let you know if I still think this is one of the best stocks to buy right now. Right, so I'll share with you first the underappreciated segment of its business, and I'll talk briefly about that, and I'll spend a lot more time on the search engine business because that, in my opinion, is more important to Alphabet's valuation and more important to Alphabet stock investors. So Waymo continues to scale and expand to safely serve more riders in more places. And I think that's the key here is safely. Waymo uses the LiDAR, radar, and full suite of safety features to make these rides safer, right? Whereas Tesla is going with the cheaper version to make it more scalable, cheaper to produce, and in that way offer customers a lower price per ride. But my estimate for this market is that price is not going to be the selling point. Consumers are not going to look at this when they're choosing a ride and say, I want to look at what's the cheapest option. I think more and more consumers will look to what's the safer option, especially when you're working with families and parents. They're going to want to go with the safer option, not the cheaper option. And so I like the direction that Google is going here or Alphabet is going here with the safer, more full suite of technology embedded in the vehicles to reduce the number of incidents, to reduce the number of tragedies. Of course, you've probably read in the newspapers about how Tesla was held liable for a crash involving one of its cars that was on a robo mode or autopilot mode, and it crashed into people, killing people and injuring others. And so those types of situations will make consumers afraid of going into some of those vehicles. And I think safety is going to be a primary selling point in this market. Click the link below to watch the full video.